Open up your Journeys book to page 126. 126. Pop's Bridge. The illustrations in this story are pretty cool. So what's the genre? What is the genre of this story? If we look on the left side, that column there, on page 126, what is the genre? Connor.
Historical fiction.
Historical fiction. So historical fiction is a story that's set in the past. A story that's set in the past. So as we read, we're going to look for these things. A setting that is a real time and place, real characters and events, but there might be some made-up events and details. Okay, so historical fiction, again, something that happened in the past that could be real. It could be real. Pop's Bridge by Eve Bunting. I'm going to read a little bit about the author if you're looking on page 126. It says, the first time Eve Bunting ever saw the Golden Gate Bridge in 1958 was in 1958. On that day, she had moved to California from Ireland, where she had been born. I thought it was the most beautiful bridge I had ever seen, she recalls. So our story is kind of about the Golden Gate Bridge, and it is located in California. Let's read about the illustrator. Ty already made a comment about, you notice the picture, kind of those two, the men and the boy, they have like big ears. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
So the illustrator is C.F. Payne. C.F. Payne, whose initials stand for Chris Fox, is famous for drawing people with very large heads, noses, and ears. Sometimes Payne uses friends as models for his drawings, as he did in Pop's Bridge. So that's something he's famous for, drawing people with big heads, big noses, and big ears.
Not that one he's famous for.
Their ears look so big.
They're so big. All right, we'll start it. We'll read a few pages and then we'll go out to recess. All right, turn the page. There's a picture of the start of the building of the Golden Gate Bridge on page 128. My pop is building the Golden Gate Bridge. Almost every day after school, Charlie Shue and I go to Fort Point and watch. The bridge will stretch across the bay from San Francisco to Marin. People said the bridge couldn't be built. Some call it the Impossible Bridge. They say the bay is too deep, the currents too strong, the winds blowing in from the ocean is too fierce. But I know my pop can do it. Whenever I say he's building the bridge, Mom laughs. There's a crew of more than 1,000 men working on that bridge, Robert, including Charlie's dad, she reminds me. I know that, but I just shrug. To me, it's Pop's Bridge. Turn the page. Pop's a high iron man, balancing on the slatted catwalks, spinning and bending the cables. Connor, go get some water. He climbs so high that sometimes clouds come down around his shoulders. When the fog rolls in, he disappears completely. That's why the high iron men are called skywalkers. Charlie's dad is a painter. The painters start working long before the bridge is even finished. My pop says if it weren't for them, the bridge would rust away. But I think he's just saying that to be nice. The skywalkers have the most important job of all. That's a cool picture. You can see the people there. You can see the men that are painting. And then you can see the guy that's kind of standing along the bridge there. But you see how tiny they look compared to the big bridge?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, right?
That bridge is huge though.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
Yes, Connor?
I already got one twice.
Okay. Hopefully they'll go away soon. At Fort Point, I look for Pop through the binoculars Mom lends me. The workers look alike in their overalls and swabby hats, but I can always find my Pop because of his red handkerchief he ties around his throat. It's our own scarlet signal. I don't worry much about him on days when the sun sparkles on the water, when sailboats skim below. It's so beautiful, I can forget that it's dangerous too. But when the wind blows through the Golden Gate, the men cling to the girders like caterpillars on a branch. On foggy days, my hands sweat on the binoculars. Where is he? When I find him, I try not to look away, as though the force of my eyes can keep him from falling. Why does he seem kind of worried? Why does he seem kind of worried, Anastasia?
Because he thinks his pop's gonna fall.
Yeah, he thinks maybe his Pops is going to fall.
I would be worried too.
I would be worried for sure.
I would be
At
worried
my
if he
house,
fell.
Charlie and I work on a jigsaw puzzle Mom bought us. When it's done, it will show how an artist thinks the bridge will look. Charlie and I work on the puzzle most every day. Bending over it, I feel like I'm building the real thing along with Pop. I'm a Skywalker too. We're almost done, Charlie says. I wonder which of us will put in the last piece. I shrug. But what he says makes me think. My Pop built that bridge. He should set the last puzzle piece in place. That's only fair, even though Charlie might think his dad should do it. When Charlie isn't looking, I slip one of the puzzle pieces into my pocket. Later, I hide it in my room. I'm saving it for Pop. Turn the page. What is their puzzle going to be? Raise your hand. What is that puzzle going to be? They're making a puzzle. What is it? Pablo.
The Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, so what an artist thinks it's going to look like. It might not actually look like that. It's just what somebody thinks it'll look like. All right, so the impossible bridge is nearly finished. One evening, Mom and Pop and I walked down to Fort Point. The bridge hangs between stars and sea. It's like a giant harp, my Pop says, a harp for the angels to play. I look up at him and I can tell that this wasn't just a job to my Pop. He loves the bridge. Turn the page. In San Francisco, there is great excitement. Everyone is waiting for opening day. So this bridge is located in the city of San Francisco, but the state of California. So it's in San Francisco, California. Charlie and I have watched nearly every bit of the bridge go up. We saw the two spans come together from opposite directions. We saw them meet. We saw the roadway go in, and my Pop did it. No one can be as proud as I am. Not even Charlie. After all, my dad is a Skywalker. And then one day, something terrible happens. Charlie and I are watching as the scaffolding pulls away from the bridge. There's a noise like a train wreck as the scaffolding crashes down into the safety net. The net tears loose, and men go in with it to the swirling tide. I can't breathe. I can't think. But then I look hard through the binoculars and see Pop still on the bridge, his red handkerchief whipping. Pop, I whisper in relief. Beside me, Charlie is screaming, "Where's my dad? Where's my dad?" We had seen him working close to the scaffolding. I can't see him now. We'll find him. I promise. We have to. I sweep the binoculars up and down the bridge cables, looking at every painter hanging high on his Jacob's ladder or swinging in a bosun's chair like a knot on a rope. Be there, Mr. Shu, I plead, and then spot him. Over there, by Cross Grinder, I yell. Charlie fumbles for the binoculars. I help him. He looks where I point. He's there. He's safe. Charlie gasps. The next day, we find out that only 2 of the 12 men in the water were saved. Turn the page. I think and think about that day. At night, half asleep, I see the bridge shake. I hear the crash. One of those men is in the water could have been Pop or Charlie's dad. I finally understand, and I feel ashamed. Equal work, equal danger, for skywalkers and for painters. The work goes on. The new safety net is put in place. Pop says there's less talking and joking now among the men. There's a remembering. But the bridge must be finished. And at last it is. We watch through Mom's binoculars as the golden spike is drilled in at the center of the main span. Now the celebration can begin. On opening day, no cars are allowed. Thousands of people walk and dance and roller skate across the bridge, including us. I wear Pop's handkerchief around my neck. There's a man riding a unicycle. There's another on stilts. Navy biplanes fly above the great steel towers. Battleships and cruisers sail below the bridge and into San Francisco Bay. Wind strums its music through the stretch of the cables, and I think of my Pop's harp. Turn the page. That night, our family has our own party with Charlie and his dad. There's stewed chicken and a Chinese noodle dish Charlie's dad made, and a snickerdoodle pie. The jigsaw puzzle sits on the coffee table with a gap in the middle. I've searched and searched for that missing piece, my mother says. A good thing we didn't leave our bridge with a space like that, Mr. Shoe says. Pop chuckles. We'd be working still. It's time. I slip upstairs to get the hidden puzzle piece, and then find the scissors and cut the piece carefully in half. I go back down and put a half piece in Mr. Shoe's hand, and the other in Pop's. Finish it, I say. It's your bridge. It belongs to both of you. Turn the page. My mother raises her eyebrows, and Charlie says, "Hey, where?" But I just watched as the two pieces fit in so perfectly, so smoothly. Team effort, my Pop says. We raise our glasses of sarsaparilla to celebrate the laborers and riveters, the carpenters and the painters and the skywalkers. All the men who work together to build the most beautiful bridge in the world. All right, so going back to the historical fiction, you can keep your page where it is. I'm just turning mine. So this story was historical fiction. Remember, when we were looking at what historical fiction is, it includes a setting that is a real time and place. So do we have a setting that's a real time, a real place?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we have a setting that's real time, real place. Do we have realistic characters, so characters that could be real? Yeah. Yeah, so that's historical fiction. All right, you may close this book, put it in your desk,